Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Or Avinu Chai, Or Avinu Chai. Or Avinu, Or Avinu, Or Avinu Chai. Or Avinu Chai, Or Avinu Chai. Or Avinu, Or Avinu, Or Avinu Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael 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 Chai. Or Avinu Chai, Or Avinu Chai. Or Avinu, Or Avinu, Or Avinu Chai. Or Avinu Chai, Or Avinu Chai. Or Avinu, Or Avinu, Or Avinu Chai. Shabbat Shalom. We're on page 347. Page 347. Every bee that brings the honey needs the sting to be complete. And we all must learn to taste the bitter with the sweet. Bless for me, oh God, these treasures. All my friends keep safe and strong. Bless the world and bless these people, and God bless this song. I'll call
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is so good to be together tonight, whether we're together here physically on our campus or if you're joining us, but together with us from afar. There's always something really special about a room full of people who are taking a little bit of pause from the busyness of the week and of life and stepping into Shabbat together. And what better way to do that than with music and community and with our kids leading the way. So before we begin, fourth grade parents, this is an invitation for you. If you can, I know it's hard to part with your phone, to turn it off, to put it down, right? We capture everything in high def. You can go back online, you can grab a screenshot, you'll be great. It'll be even better than your iPhone camera. You won't miss a moment, but I can promise that your kids want to look out and see your actual faces, right? Nod yes. Thank you. And of course, this Shabbat is a little bit special because we're getting ready for Yom HaAtzmaut, the birthday of the state of Israel. And our fourth graders up here, they've been learning all about Israel this year, its history and its people and its culture. And tonight they'll help lead us in sharing some of that musical learning. You'll also begin to notice that much of the music we'll sing tonight was written by Israeli composers. So our music comes from that place of creativity and language and chayim, of life. And at the same time, I know I've been talking to lots of Israeli friends that this year feels complicated. It has felt complicated for the last couple of years. I know lots of us are holding what's happening in Israel right now. Thank God, a ceasefire, but also still fighting with Hezbollah. Our soldiers who are still in harm's way, and the fact even that some of the Yom Ha'atzmaut celebrations in Israel have been canceled because it doesn't feel safe or right to have a big party. And there's disagreements, there's hard conversations happening in Israel itself about the kind of country we want it to be. Because when we care so deeply about a place and about its people, our feelings are rarely simple. You can look around at your family, we know that's true, right? We can feel love and pride, but we can also feel worry and sadness, even in that same moment. And I think that's part of why tonight feels so important, why it matters so much. Because it's Shabbat, this chance to slow down and reflect and make space for what's in our hearts. And also this time, it's also a time to celebrate the very real and incredible miracle that is the state of Israel. A place, as I said, of language and culture and possibility that so many people have and continue to work to build. And so tonight, we'll hold both of those things, some reflection, some celebration. We're honored, in addition to our fourth graders, we have some speakers tonight from Birthright Israel, which has spent now decades helping people build those real connections to the state of Israel. And so they'll also help us think about what it means to love Israel, not only in easy moments, but maybe especially in the harder ones. But most of all tonight, we're going to do what we have always done as Jews: come together, sing, pray, and hold it all together, and especially to hold hope. I'm going to invite us all to rise as we turn to Hatikva, page 374.
Kolot balecha enima nefesh yehudi omi'ah ufate mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia od lo
You stay standing. We're going to continue with the candle lighting. Candles have always been a symbol of hope in our tradition. So I'm going to invite Sage, who becomes bat mitzvah tomorrow, who's going to help lead us. And also I want to invite our fourth grade teaching team to come forward to help us kindle the lights of hope and especially of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. You may be seated.
We welcome the Shabbat bride with a Lachadodi straight from Kol HaNeshama in Jerusalem.
Lechadodi likrat kala yala 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 Hnei Shabbat nekabela Lechadodi likrat kala yala 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 Hnei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad Ishmi'anu el amiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem u'tiferet v'liteilah Lechadodi likrat kala yala 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 Hnei Shabbat nekabela Lechadodi likrat kala yala 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 Hnei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha Ki bekor haveracha Nerosh mikerem nesucha Sof ma'aseh v'machshava tefila Lechadodi likrat kala yala 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 Hnei Shabbat nekabela Lechadodi likrat kala yala 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 Hnei Shabbat nekabela Boi v'shalom Ateret bala Gam v'simcha u'v'tzola Tachem u'neis Am segula Boi chala Boi chala Lechadodi likrat kala yala 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 Hnei Shabbat nekabela Lechadodi likrat kala yala 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 Hnei Shabbat nekabela Page 24, we welcome the Sabbath angels. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And as we turn to our Baruch Hu, our call to prayer, we imagine our voices joining with all of Am Yisrael as we come together as one. We invite you to please rise on page 28.
Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, yai, yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai.
And with a breath into the words and the experience of Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Mahuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Page 36. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לפניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
As much as Mi Chamocha is a celebration of the redemption that was, the passing through rather than passing over, it is also a song and a prayer and a wish for the redemption that will yet be. On page 41, we say, sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Mi Chamocha is on page 40.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha va'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, oseh telem, nora tehilot, oseh telem. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Shabbat Shalom. So tonight is the beginning of a celebration of Israel's anniversary. We thought this would be just a wonderful time to highlight a program that's had an impact on so many people throughout the United States and beyond, called Birthright Israel. It's probably familiar to many of you. I hope it becomes familiar to all of you. And we are fortunate tonight to have a number of representatives speak. You'll hear from some of them now, some of them a little bit later in the service. But first, I am very happy to welcome Yael Gonen-Dawson, who is the regional director, along with Orly Ohebsian, a cabinet member, and her daughter, Yasmin Ohebsian.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Rabbi Woznicka, and to the clergy and leadership of this beautiful community for welcoming us tonight. As was mentioned, my name is Yael, and I have had the privilege of being in my role with Birthright for about a year and a half. I want to take you to a moment. It's October 8th, and we all kind of woke up to a different world, maybe a little less certain. And in that moment, I made a promise. I made a promise to my grandparents, Aleim Shalom, that I will never again look away from the challenges that are facing our people, and that I would do everything in my power to protect my children's Jewish future. And in that decision led me to Birthright Israel. And to look more deeply at it, not just as it is, but also for what it's becoming. Because Birthright is not just a trip. It's a life-changing experience. It's the bridge that connects Israel, its history, to young Jews and Israelis to the diaspora. It's an evolving platform for Jewish identity, and it was designed exactly for this moment. Today, we offer 4 different distinct programs. The well-known, life-changing 10-day experience, where a young adult can ignite a connection to Israel and their Jewish identity, often for the very first time. But what's new? Well, our alumni were asking for more connection, deeper immersion, and we listened. Our newest program in response to October 7th is Birthright Volunteer, an initiative inspired by Birthright alumni themselves, giving young Jews a way to show up, to contribute, and to lead in real time while building lifelong connections with Israelis on the ground. Our third program, Birthright Israel Onward, participants step into immersive internships and real-world experiences across a wide range of fields, anywhere from business and tech and into MADA training, which is Magen David Adom. Some told me they don't know what MADA is. And anything from there to digital storytelling and teaching them to take control of their narrative and their stories. And finally, our fourth program, Birthright Excel, our premier business and tech mentorship program, where fellows become a part of a lifelong network of future Jewish leaders, entrepreneurs, and innovators. They are connected for life with their Israeli mentors and their peers. Over 900,000 young Jews have experienced Birthright, an entire generation. And our promise is to bring another 200,000 participants by 2029. Because if we want a strong Jewish future, we have to build it intentionally, consistently, and at scale. And as an Israeli mother raising my children here, that's how I choose to show up. Toda rabah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Orly Ohepsian. It's truly meaningful to be here tonight, not just as a community member, but as a mother. My daughter, Yasmin. I'm Israeli, Iranian, and American, all three. And like many of you, my connection to Jewish identity and to Israel is deeply rooted and woven in my family's story, our history, and the values we strive to pass on at home to our children. I got involved with Birthright several years ago when I looked for a way to stay connected to my heritage. I learned something important. Identity can't just be taught, it has to be experienced. That became very real in our own home when our daughter was selected for Birthright Excel's fellowship. I watched something shift, not overnight, but meaningfully with time. A deeper sense of connection, pride, and a curiosity, something stronger, an understanding of what it really means to be a part of something bigger than yourself. As a parent, that's everything we hope for your children. We give them roots, but programs like Birthright help give them wings. They create space for young adults to explore their identity on their own and come back with a sense of ownership that stays with them. Seeing that transformation up close is what moved me from being grateful to getting even more involved. Today, I'm proud to be part of Birthright LA Cabinet because I want more families to experience what mine did. I want more young people to have that moment where everything clicks, where heritage becomes personal and connection becomes lasting. This isn't just about a trip, it's about continuity, belonging, and the future we're building, one participant at a time. Birthright is ensuring the Jewish future with each and every trip. Join me and get involved. You'll be so happy you did.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm so happy to be with you tonight, especially leading into Yom HaAtzmaut. I've been thinking so much about why I love being Jewish, and there's so many reasons, but one of them is that Jews are so good at celebrating milestones. Brit milahs, bat mitzvahs, weddings, so many fun, exciting milestones that feel like rites of passage. I want to share a little bit about how I think Birthright is a rite of passage for young Jews today. So we are living through an unprecedented period of time, and I speak from experience when I say that just 2 years ago, I graduated from Tulane University. I got very involved in fighting anti-Semitism on campus, starting about 8 months before October 7th, and then after October 7th, I really watched things escalate on campus. I watched friends physically assaulted, experienced harassment from other students on campus and online. I lost friends and had to stand up against hostile professors time and time again. I ended up testifying before Congress about the anti-Semitism on my campus, and that led me to founding my nonprofit, Our Campus United, now fighting anti-Semitism across the US on dozens and dozens of college campuses. So after October 7th, what I saw on my campus is Jewish students faced with new decisions every day. Do I keep wearing my Magen David? Should I still go to Hillel if there's a protest outside? Will I lose friends if I post on social media in support of Israel? If I hear propaganda on campus, should I step in and defend Israel, or do I not know enough to engage in this conversation? For me, those questions were easy to answer, because I grew up with a father from Iran and a mother from Israel. I know the truth about Israel, but not all my Jewish friends on campus do. In my experience, the person who went on a Birthright Israel trip is always the person who's more likely to step up for the Jewish people and Israel. The person who went to Tel Aviv and saw a gay barista making coffee next to an Arab Muslim woman in a hijab is the person with the confidence through experience to stand up and say Israel is absolutely not an apartheid state. The girl who went to the Nova Music Festival site and saw the faces of the women her own age who were brutalized is the student who stood up to an MIT professor that said that the women on October 7th deserved it because they were dancing on stolen land. And more importantly, the person who keeps Shabbat for the first time in Jerusalem and feels the magic of visiting the Kotel is the person who leaves Birthright a more confident, connected, purposeful Jew. People go on Birthright for so many different reasons. Some come for the free trip, others love Israel and want to spend more time there, some are struggling with dating and think it could be a good way to meet someone new, and others are confused and disillusioned by campus movements and propaganda and want to know the truth. But all Birthright participants are connected by the decision that they made to spend 10 days with new people in Israel. That is why people open up and have the conversations they were maybe too scared to have, listen to the stories they otherwise would have ignored, and defend Israel in a conversation because now they have been there and they have seen it for themselves. So today, with all the propaganda, the turbulence, and the unrest in our world, as Jews celebrating Yom HaAtzmaut, I would encourage you to support the organization that is celebrating the milestone of discovering and loving Israel for every young Jew. Let's make this dream a reality. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much for sharing. And as I was listening and thinking of my many trips to Israel, the theme that I heard over and over was one of connection, of that thing that connects each and every one of us in this room and with Israel. And as we think about connection, I also want us to think about the people we're connected to in our hearts, those maybe in need of a little bit extra connection this Shabbat, in need of healing. And so for those of us in this space, I just want you to hold them in your heart. If you're at home joining us and want to share a name in the chat of those you are praying for, we turn now to the words of Misha Berach. As I said at the beginning, this can be Shabbat, can always be any moment. It can be joyous, it can be sad, it can be all of them, it can be complicated. And so I'm grateful always to our rabbis who said, at the end of a week, take some silence. So we're going to invite you to rise as you're able. The silent Amidah can be found in your prayer book beginning on page 46, or can just simply be found in the thoughts and reflections in your own heart. We invite you to take a few moments of reflection, and as you finish your prayers, please be seated.
Page 356, a prayer and a love letter to my favorite city, Yerushalayim Shel Zahav. האוויר הרים צלול כיין וריח אורנים נישא ברוח הרבעים עם כל פעמונים ובתרדמת אילן ואבן שבויה בחלומה העיר אשר בדד יושבת ובליבה חומה ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושל אור הלא לכל שירייך אני כינור ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושל אור הלא לכל שירייך אני
Our final two speakers about Birthright are Dr. Gary Lazar and Ryan Finkelstein. Dr. Lazar has many claims to fame. He is on the cabinet of Birthright Israel. He is also on our temple board of directors, and he is the chair of our Israel committee here at Stephen Wise Temple. And Ryan Finkelstein recently experienced the Birthright journey. It's my pleasure to welcome both of you to the Bima.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm really honored to be here today in this wonderful community that my wife Carol and I have called home for the past 45 or so years. And I'm here to briefly tell you why I joined the Los Angeles Leadership Cabinet of Birthright Israel. Being a part of this organization is very personal to me. I believe that Jewish identity doesn't just sustain itself, it has to be cultivated and strengthened through meaningful, formative experiences. So, I grew up in a secular Jewish home. In 1970, long before many of you were born, I graduated from high school with no plans for the summer. A friend of mine asked me if I wanted to go on an organized trip to Israel. At that time, I knew nothing about Israel and never heard the word Israel uttered from the lips of either my mother or father. And there was no birthright at that time. We worked on a kibbutz in the Negev for 2 months that summer and toured all around Israel. It was a life-changing experience that provided me with a connection to Israel and Judaism that I would not have imagined I would have going in knowing so little. So much so that I went back the following summer and worked at the same kibbutz. As I mentioned, there was no birthright back then. However, we are blessed to have Birthright now. And as you've heard from these alums, it is a life-changing experience, and it is so much more than just touring and working on a kibbutz. Birthright invites these kids to claim their birthright and take their place in the Jewish story and the big tent of Jewish peoplehood. And that is why Birthright Israel participants of today are the Jewish leaders, educators, parents, and philanthropists of tomorrow. That is why I'm so passionate about being a part of Birthright Israel. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom. I want to thank you for letting me join you here tonight. My name is Ryan Finkelstein. What began as a 10-day trip has become a rite of passage for young Jewish adults around the world. Tonight I want to tell you what that rite of passage looked like for me and why I believe it matters now more than ever. I want to take you back to June of last year. I was on a plane from JFK to Tel Aviv, not only my first time in Israel, but my first time leaving the country. I was 22, excited and ready to embark on my classic 10-day trip. That's not what happened. Within days of arriving, tensions between Israel and Iran escalated into open conflict. For the next 6 days, my group and I were in and out of our hotel's bomb shelter in Jerusalem, never getting to see the holy city. I should tell you something about who I was before that trip. I had grown up Jewish. Bar mitzvah, Sunday school, the whole thing. But to be honest, for most of my life, being Jewish was something that happened to me, not something I chose. With the airport shut down, I had made peace with being there for several weeks and was developing a routine around our nightly sirens. Then, surprising us all, we received an email. You are being offered on a spot on a boat that departs tomorrow. Reading that a ship was coming to take us to Cyprus, I didn't feel relieved. I felt profoundly emotional. I didn't want to leave. Sleeping on the floor of a bomb shelter with people I had known for less than a week, I felt completely at home, a connection with strangers I had never felt before. I stood on the deck of that ship, watching the Israeli coastline disappear behind me, and I started to cry. Not because I was scared, but because somewhere between landing in Israel and boarding that boat, something in me had shifted. I arrived as someone who was Jewish by birth. I left as someone who was Jewish by choice, who had made it an intentional, irreplaceable part of who I am. That is what Birthright does. It doesn't just show you Israel, it shows you yourself reflected in thousands of years of history, in the faces of the people around you, in the staggering realization that you belong to something far greater than yourself. As we approach Yom HaAtzmaut, Israeli Independence Day next week, I want to ask you something. Is there a young Jewish adult in your life? A child, a grandchild, a niece, a nephew, a neighbor, your doctor, your lawyer, your accountant, between the ages of 18 and 26, who hasn't had that moment yet? Because that moment is available to them. Birthright Israel makes it possible, and this community can help make it happen. Talk to them. Tell them to go. Tell them it might just change their life. It changed mine. Together, we are building the Jewish future, one trip at a time. Shabbat Shalom.
So thank you to Yael, Orly, Yasmin, Dr. Lazar, Ryan. I want to offer one brief thought because tonight we celebrate Israel. And as Ryan mentioned, officially Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel's Independence Day, begins on Wednesday night in Israel. But I want to share with you what happens the night before. 24 hours before we celebrate Yom HaAtzmaut in Israel, Tuesday night, the country observes Yom HaZikaron, Memorial Day. Originally, this was created for soldiers who died defending Israel in the War of Independence in 1948. It later came to acknowledge the loss of soldiers in all future wars, and then it included victims of terror in Israel and Jewish victims of terror around the world. So for 24 hours, when the sun goes down on Tuesday night in Israel, theaters and restaurants will close. There will be a siren at 8 p.m., and again the next morning at 11 a.m., and everyone in Israel will stop in place. Memorial candles will be lit. The radio and television stations will play stories of those who have died. And here is what is rather amazing. Despite the loss, the terror, the fact that Israelis run into shelter multiple times a day, despite that it is the only country in the world that is targeted for destruction. Let me repeat those words. It is the only country in the world targeted for destruction. Despite all of that, despite the divisions in Israel, you all remember the gigantic protests on matters having to do with judicial reform or how the war was being handled in Gaza. Remarkably, despite all of those things, Israelis are a happy people. As a matter of fact, in 2024, Israel ranked number 5 on the happiness scale of countries, and this last year in 2025, number 8. Why? I believe their happiness is rooted in a deep appreciation for their sacrifice and a deep, deep sense of purpose. So, when Yom HaZikaron, Memorial Day, concludes at sundown on Wednesday night, there will be a ceremony at the National Cemetery in Israel, and the flag will be raised from half-staff to full staff, and Israel will begin its celebration of Yom HaAtzmaut, their Israel Independence Day. It is the perfect balance of remembering loss and sacrifice and embracing renewal and pride. And that, my friends, in so many ways defines Israel. That is our people, and that is what we are celebrating right here in America, around the world tonight. We'll continue on page 258, acknowledging and asking you to join me in a prayer for our country at the bottom of the page, 258, and please, I encourage you to read it along with me. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Prayer for the State of Israel, page 259.
Avinu Shebashamayim, Tzor Yisrael Go'alo, Marechet Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Tzmichat Geulateinu.
Please join me at the bottom of the page. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. Going to welcome Malka and our shlicha Talia to come and join us and offer a prayer for our soldiers.
מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, ואימותינו, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל,
העומדים על משמר ארצנו וערי אלוהינו, מגבול הלבנון ועד מדבר מצרים, ומן הים הגדול עד לבוא הערבה, ביבשה, באוויר ובים. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור ויציל את חיילינו מכל צרה וצוקה, ומכל נגע ומחלה, וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשי ידיהם, ונאמר אמן.
May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless the soldiers of the Israel Defense Forces, who stand guard over our land and our cities from the northern border of Lebanon to the southern desert of Egypt, and from the Great Sea in the west and to the eastern Arava, whether by land, air, or sea.
May the Holy One preserve and rescue our defenders from every challenge and distress, and from every crisis or illness. May God send blessing and success towards their every endeavor, and let us say,
Amen. And now it is our honor to invite our room parents to do Kiddush with the community. So Tiffany Niemer, Sally Trifon, Shireen Perun-Zafur, please come and join us.
We have a wonderful tradition, and Todah Rabbah. By the way, Talia, your Hebrew improved so much since you spent a year in the States. She's Israeli. We have a wonderful tradition of asking people to share what we call shehechiyanu moments, something wonderful or good that has happened in their lives. So if any of you have had something particularly nice that you'd like us to recognize, we'll just ask you to stand. And as I go around the room, I'll just ask you to share publicly. Could be a birthday, an anniversary, just something good that's happened in your life. Oh, this is so perfect. Jews don't want to acknowledge anything good. Please. He's been commissioned to produce a portable Aron Kodesh, beautiful, a holy ark, other wonderful things. 60 years as a practicing physician. Wow. That is worthy of celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to rise and join us on page 5 for the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotov v'ratzavanu. B'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom techilo lemikra kodesh, zeicher letziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava u'vratzon Ilchatanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh Hashavat. L'chaim. Good.
Page 282, the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
reflected on collective memory, this is an opportunity for all of us to think for a moment about personal memory and loss. Any of you who are within the first week of mourning are invited to rise. If you are within the first 30 days, the Shloshim period, you are invited to rise. Any of you who have had a loss within the last year are invited to rise. And if you'd like to share the name of the person for whom you have stood. Any of you who are here this evening observing a yahrzeit are invited to rise as well. And we invite the congregation to rise, as is our custom. On page 294, you'll find the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yom echon, u'v'chayei d'kol Beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'izman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ulmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpoar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'ne'emata ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. May God, who creates harmony on high, bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we all together say, Amen. Before we conclude our service with the Adon Olam, I want to acknowledge and thank Cantor Emma Lutz, Rabbi Laufer, Cantor Lauren Blas-Ban Roth, our talented musicians led by Tally Tadmore, our fourth graders, naturally, all of the parents, the faculty, the staff, to all of you behind the scenes. And finally, if I may say, thank you to God for the state of Israel, that we are all alive to be able to enjoy it, to celebrate it, to all those who gave their life, and all those in Israel fighting for, and Americans fighting for freedom. May we all be blessed. For peace, Israel and her neighbors, we celebrate alongside them tonight, concluding with Adon Olam, page 321.
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Adon Olam Hashem Allah b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'nasa v'chefso kol azay merech shamo nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimlok olam ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh ve'hu yeh b'tifarav Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'nasa v'chefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimlok Torah ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh ve'hu yeh b'tifarav Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, u'mevorach Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom u'mevorach Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom u'mevorach. Shabbat shalom.